The galaxy was mapped with perfect precision. Every world, every star, every passage between systems had been recorded by the archivists of the Galactic Council. Their star charts were so vast and so detailed that no mistake had ever been found in them for over 10,000 years. Yet, there was one strange thing: every chart ended at a single blue planet. The name written in old letters was simple: Earth. No routes beyond, no coordinates past it, no notes or explanations. The maps simply stopped, like the universe itself refused to go further. No one in the council ever questioned it. Not openly. To raise the question in a public chamber was to invite silence, fear, and the quick changing of subject. Even the youngest races of the stars, curious and reckless, quickly learned to never say that word aloud. Earth. It was not a forbidden planet by law. No record declared it dangerous. No treaty spoke its name. And yet, everyone acted as if some hidden rule kept them away. Freighters, explorers, and warships all traveled around the void where Earth was marked, but none ever dared approach it. It was as if the stars themselves warned them not to cross that invisible line. Still, stories spread in the shadows. Whispers told of ships that strayed too close to Earth and were never heard from again. Tales spoke of screams in the void, of signals cut mid-broadcast, of fleets vanishing without even wreckage to mark their passing. Some said Earth was cursed, others believed it was protected by something far worse. For centuries, the fear kept everyone silent. Until one day, silence broke. The Vezari Dominion, a young but ambitious empire, refused to believe in legends. Their leaders laughed at the old warnings. To them, Earth was simply an unmapped sector that could be claimed, mined, and exploited. They told their people that the old empires used fear as a weapon, hiding resources behind superstition. The Vezari sent scouts to the border, ignoring the way nearby races looked at them with pale eyes and trembling hands. The first scout ship never returned. The second sent a single message, one word repeated over and over before the signal cut into static: run. But the Dominion would not stop. Pride and arrogance pushed them forward. Soon, a full fleet gathered at the edge of the void, right where the star charts ended. Dozens of ships, their hulls gleaming with weapons, their captains smiling with the confidence of conquerors. They believed Earth was only a name. They believed fear was only weakness. They were wrong. The moment their fleet crossed into the forbidden space, strange signals filled their comms. Voices in languages they could not translate. Static that carried patterns, like a heartbeat too deep to belong to any machine. Their navigational systems spun out of control, mapping stars that were not supposed to exist, constellations twisting into shapes that made the crews shiver. And then, they saw it. A planet of blue and green, orbiting a warm yellow sun. At first, it looked calm, peaceful, almost ordinary. Yet the silence around it was heavier than any battlefield. No satellites circled it. No stations guarded it. And still, every Vezari crewman felt the same chill crawl across their skin, the sense that something ancient was watching them, waiting, measuring. One captain ordered a probe launched. The probe vanished before it could send data back. Another captain ordered a strike on the surface, convinced that the world was hiding weapons. The moment the first missile descended, the fleet's sensors went dark. Lights flickered across every Vezari ship. Gravity itself seemed to twist. And then, the fleet saw something impossible. Out of the blackness between stars, a shape emerged. Not a ship of the Dominion, nor of the Council. It was old, impossibly old, yet its hull glowed with lines of power that no Vezari scientist could understand. Its design was human. The Vezari had never seen humans before. No one alive had. And yet, the word carried through every alien's mind like an echo older than memory. Human. The ship did not broadcast warnings. It did not open negotiations. It simply existed, vast and terrible, like a ghost of forgotten wars. The Vezari captains argued, fear now replacing arrogance. Some screamed to retreat, others demanded an attack. None of them realized that their choice no longer mattered. The human ship was already moving, slow but unstoppable, its weapons awakening with a glow brighter than suns. For the first time in their history, the Vezari Dominion felt the weight of true silence. A silence that came before death. And across the galaxy, in hidden corners and secret halls, the older races felt the same chill. The star charts ended at Earth for a reason. And now, that reason had awakened. The Vezari fleet had never known fear before. They had marched across half a dozen sectors, burning colonies, enslaving weaker species, and tearing down old defenses. No star system had ever stood against them for long. But now, in the shadow of that silent blue planet, their mighty fleet trembled like prey caught in the eyes of a predator. The human warship hung before them, vast and ancient. Its surface looked scarred, as if it had survived countless battles. Yet those scars did not weaken it. They made it seem more alive, like a beast with teeth sharpened by centuries of war. Strange symbols ran across its hull, glowing faintly, pulsing like veins carrying fire. At first, the Vezari commanders thought it was a relic. A broken machine left behind from some forgotten age. But when it moved, when its engines burned with a fire they could not measure, every alien heart froze. The Dominion fleet, so proud and so arrogant, felt the weight of something greater than empires, something older than fear itself. The Vezari flagship sent a signal across the fleet. Attack now. Overwhelm it before it strikes. Dozens of warships unleashed their firepower at once. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and rail slugs tore across the void, all aimed at the human vessel. Explosions lit the darkness. For a moment, the Vezari thought victory was theirs. But when the light faded, the human ship was untouched. Not a scratch, not a single flicker in its shields. Instead, it answered. Its weapons came alive with a blinding light, brighter than the stars around them. Beams of pure destruction sliced through Vezari cruisers as if their armor was paper. A single blast tore 3 ships apart in silence. Another beam cut through the heart of the flagship, ending the voice of the commander mid-order. The Vezari had always believed themselves hunters. Now they realized they were prey. Panic spread through the fleet. Some ships tried to run, engines burning at full speed. Others kept firing, desperate to break the unbreakable. But nothing worked. One by one, their ships vanished into clouds of fire and debris, until the space around Earth glowed with the wreckage of a fallen armada. Not a single distress call reached the Dominion. Every signal was swallowed, cut, or silenced. And in the darkness, the human ship remained, quiet and watchful, as if it had never moved at all. Across the galaxy, whispers spread like wildfire. The Dominion had sent a fleet into the forbidden space. None returned. Merchants carried rumors to distant ports. Smugglers spoke of echoes in the commnet, fragments of screams carried through static. And the oldest races, those who had long hidden their fear, now sat in silence, their faces grim. The council gathered in secret chambers, debating what to do. Some argued that the humans were extinct, that the ship was only an ancient machine. Others believed the humans still lived, waiting in silence, watching as the galaxy grew weak and foolish. One voice, trembling but firm, broke the silence of the council. We always wondered why the star charts ended at Earth. Now we know. It was not a mistake. It was a warning. The council chambers shook with unease. For millennia they had avoided that forbidden system, not because of ignorance, but because of memory. They remembered the wars, the way humanity had once burned across the stars like wildfire, unstoppable and merciless. They remembered the silence that followed, when humanity vanished without explanation. Now, perhaps they had returned. But no one could answer the most dangerous question of all. Were the humans guarding Earth? Or were they waiting for the galaxy to step too close, so they could rise again? Meanwhile, in the dark system where the Vezari fleet had vanished, the human ship turned slowly. Its engines glowed faintly, carrying it back toward the quiet planet. It moved without hurry, without fear, as though it knew the galaxy was already watching. On Earth's surface, deep beneath mountains older than memory, machines awakened. Lights flickered in long-forgotten bunkers. Silent chambers filled with air for the first time in thousands of years. Somewhere in the shadows, doors opened, and eyes, human eyes, looked toward the stars. The galaxy had always believed Earth was silent. But silence was not peace. It was waiting. And now, the waiting was over. The galaxy could no longer ignore the truth. The Vezari Dominion had lost an entire fleet, and though their leaders tried to hide the disaster, rumors spread faster than light. Traders whispered of wreckage drifting near forbidden space. Smugglers claimed to have picked up strange signals, voices in languages they did not know. And some even swore they had seen the glow of weapons not used for thousands of years. The Council of Races gathered once more, this time in panic. The chamber was filled with shouting voices, each empire demanding answers. Some called for war, others for silence. No one wanted to speak the word aloud, but it weighed heavily in every mind. Humanity. A frail elder from the Jalari Confederacy rose slowly. His species remembered more than most. Their records spoke of battles fought long ago, when humans were still known. His voice shook as he spoke, but his words carried through the hall. Do you fools not understand? This is why our maps end at Earth. This is why we buried their name. We were never meant to disturb them. The younger empires mocked him. They called him weak, trapped in superstition. But none of them could explain how a single ship had destroyed the Vezari's proud fleet without effort. None of them could explain how no wreckage remained whole, how even signals had been swallowed. Across the stars, fear grew, but so too did curiosity. Some species wanted to uncover the truth of humanity's disappearance. Were they still alive, hidden on Earth? Or had their weapons alone survived, guarding their world like ghosts of war? The Vezari, humiliated but burning with rage, swore vengeance. They gathered more ships, planning another invasion, this time larger and more ruthless. But even their own soldiers whispered among themselves, wondering if they were marching to their deaths. The image of that single human warship haunted their dreams. While the galaxy argued, Earth remained silent. The planet turned slowly around its sun, clouds drifting across its skies, oceans reflecting the light of day. To any passing eye, it looked peaceful, almost defenseless. Yet those who gazed too long felt something else, a weight pressing into their minds, a presence that seemed to whisper, "Stay away." And far above, the ancient warship drifted like a sentinel. Its weapons were quiet now, its hull scarred but strong. But it was not dead. Deep within, systems hummed with power. Screens flickered in empty halls. Voices echoed in the dark, speaking to no one, waiting for someone to answer. Then, something unexpected happened. A signal. Weak, broken but undeniable. It came not from an alien world, but from Earth's surface itself. The signal was old, using frequencies no modern race remembered. It carried words in a language the council translators struggled to understand. The message repeated again and again, a voice calm and steady, "We are awake." The moment the signal spread, panic exploded across the stars. Some empires fled, sealing their borders, refusing to even hear more. Others demanded that the council prepare armies, fearing humanity's return meant war. And in the Dominion, fury mixed with terror. They swore to destroy Earth before it could rise again, yet even their bravest generals hesitated. For if a single ship could erase a fleet, what could an entire species do? The council sent spies and probes, desperate for answers. Many vanished without a trace. A few returned, carrying fragments of data, strange energy readings beneath Earth's crust, movements deep under oceans, and heat signatures in mountains long believed empty. Something was happening on that planet, something vast and unstoppable. But the clearest evidence came from the void itself. New ships had been seen. Not as large as the ancient warship, but faster, sharper, carrying the same terrifying design. They did not broadcast names or signals. They simply appeared, patrolling the edges of Earth's system, silent guardians in the dark. It became clear to all, humanity was not extinct. They had been sleeping. And now, they were waking up. The question was no longer why the star charts ended at Earth. The question was how long the galaxy had before humanity stepped beyond that border once more. The Vezari Dominion could not accept defeat. Their pride was too heavy, their hunger for power too strong. Losing a fleet to a single human warship had scarred their honor, but instead of learning caution, they gathered an even greater armada. Hundreds of ships assembled at the border of the forbidden space. Their admirals promised revenge, their soldiers shouted war cries, but inside their hearts, doubt gnawed like a blade. The other races watched in silence. Some prayed the Vezari would succeed, destroying whatever lay hidden on Earth. Others feared the attempt would only provoke something far worse. None dared interfere. None dared warn. When the Vezari fleet crossed into the dark, the galaxy held its breath. At first, everything was quiet. The fleet moved closer to Earth, their scanners sweeping the skies, their weapons armed. No resistance came. No ships blocked their path. To the Vezari commanders, it seemed too easy. Perhaps, they thought, the stories were exaggerations. Perhaps the human ship was gone, destroyed in the last battle. But then the stars began to change. One by one, Vezari navigators cried out as their star maps shifted. Constellations bent into shapes that did not exist. Systems disappeared. Others appeared where no stars should be. The fleet's machines went blind, as if reality itself was twisting around them. And then the voices returned. Every comm channel filled with whispers. Not Vezari voices. Not alien at all. Human. The words were not clear, but the tone was unmistakable. Cold, steady, watching. The Vezari soldiers covered their ears, but the voices were inside their minds now, bleeding into thought. Panic began to rise. And then the human warship appeared again. It did not come from hyperspace. It did not decloak. It simply was there, as if it had always been waiting, its massive hull sliding out of the void itself. But this time, it was not alone. Two smaller vessels emerged beside it, different in design but sharing the same terrible aura. The Vezari admiral shouted for all ships to fire. Hundreds of warships unleashed their fury. The void blazed with fire, explosions tearing through the dark. But the human vessels moved with impossible precision, dodging beams, vanishing and reappearing like ghosts. And when they struck with the fury of a dying star. A single blast tore apart a Vezari dreadnought. Another beam split a squadron into fragments. But worse than the weapons was the silence. No screams, no signals, nothing escaped as ships died. It was as if the humans erased not only machines but the very memory of their victims. The Vezari armada fought with desperation, but for every human ship destroyed, 10 of theirs vanished. And when at last the battle ended, nothing remained of the Dominion fleet but drifting ash. The human vessels did not chase survivors. They did not speak. They simply returned to Earth's orbit, their engines glowing faintly, their weapons cooling like predators satisfied with the hunt. The galaxy trembled. For the first time in thousands of years, everyone understood the truth. The star charts did not end at Earth because of mystery or ignorance. They ended there because the humans wanted them to end. They had drawn a line in the stars, a border no one was meant to cross. And now, the line had been crossed twice. The council gathered again, fear gripping every word. Some demanded that Earth be destroyed before its people could rise fully. Others argued it was already too late, that no weapon in the galaxy could stand against them. The oldest races, those who remembered the wars long ago, said nothing at all. Their silence was the loudest warning. Meanwhile, across the void, Earth was no longer silent. Strange signals echoed into the stars. They carried fragments of music, patterns of speech, images of cities under blue skies. To some, it looked peaceful. To others, it looked like a promise, or a threat. In secret chambers, leaders whispered the same question. If the humans had slept for thousands of years and were this strong upon waking, what would happen when they were fully awake? No one dared to answer. The destruction of the Vezari's second fleet shook the galaxy to its core. Entire civilizations trembled at the thought of what they had witnessed. The proud Dominion, once feared by all, was now a broken empire, its leaders silent, its people whispering of ghosts that erased armies with no effort. But even as fear spread, so did curiosity. Who were the humans now? Were they the same as the old legends, or something changed? Why had they vanished, and why did they choose this moment to return? The council wanted answers, but no one dared to step too close. Yet not everyone could resist. The Valen explorers, a race known for chasing mysteries no matter the danger, sent a single ship to Earth's border. Unlike the Vezari, they carried no weapons of war, only scanners and probes. Their mission was not conquest, but knowledge. To the galaxy, they were either brave or foolish. The Valen ship crept into the forbidden zone, careful not to cross too deep. Their instruments scanned the dark skies, their recorders capturing every flicker of strange energy. 4 hours, nothing happened. The crew began to hope that perhaps the humans would ignore them if they posed no threat. But then the shadows moved. A shape emerged from the void, smaller than the great warship, yet unmistakably human in design. It did not fire. It did not block their path. Instead, it drew close, its engines glowing faint blue, its hull marked with ancient scars. The Valen captain ordered silence. No weapons. No signals. Just waiting. The human ship floated closer, so near they could see details on its surface. Symbols etched deep into its armor, words in a language no Valen could read. And then, the impossible happened. A message came through. It was not a voice in the mind, not whispers in static, but clear words across an old frequency. Identify yourself. The crew froze. For centuries, no one had heard a human voice speak across the stars. The sound was steady, calm, and carried a weight that made every alien on the ship's bridge sit rigid. The Valen captain, shaking, answered with respect. He gave his name, his species, his mission. He spoke quickly, explaining they carried no weapons, that they only sought to understand. For long moments, there was silence. The human ship drifted beside them like a predator deciding whether to kill or spare. Finally, the voice returned. You are not ready. Leave. The Valen captain hesitated, desperate for more. Please. Tell us, are humans alive on Earth? Why were you gone? No answer came. Instead, the human vessel turned away, gliding back toward the blue planet. But before it left, one final message cut through the comms, colder than the void itself: do not test us again. The Valen ship fled. They carried the recording back to the council, and the galaxy erupted. The humans had spoken. They were alive. They remembered. Now every empire was faced with a choice: stay silent and hope Earth never moved beyond its border, or act quickly before humanity regained its full strength. Some called for alliances, begging the council to unite and prepare for the worst. Others whispered of appeasement, of sending gifts, of kneeling before Earth in exchange for survival. But the Dominion wanted revenge. Their leaders, humiliated twice, swore that the humans could bleed. They began building weapons of a new kind, desperate to prove they were not broken. And while the galaxy argued, strange things began to happen near Earth. More human ships appeared, sleek and fast, patrolling not only the system but the routes leading out. The quiet signals from the planet grew louder, filled with patterns of speech and images of stars. Some scientists claimed the humans were mapping the galaxy again, preparing for something. Worse, trade routes near the forbidden space reported shadows in the void, fleets moving with impossible speed, ships that did not match any design known to the council. Some swore they were human. Others believed they were something even older, awakened by humanity's return. The council met in desperation, but no agreement could be reached. Fear and greed tore them apart. Some empires began secret talks of surrender, while others plotted alliances against Earth. The galaxy was no longer united. It was breaking apart under the weight of a single question. When the humans rise, who will survive? The Valen recording spread like fire across the stars. Every word, every second of the human voice was studied by scientists, leaders, and spies. The message was simple, yet it carried more weight than 1,000 fleets. Humanity had spoken. They had ordered the galaxy to leave. But the galaxy was never good at obeying. In hidden stations and dark labs, weapons were forged. The Dominion worked day and night, their hatred for humanity burning brighter with every failure. They believed that with enough power, even legends could die. They built cannons that could pierce stars, warheads that twisted gravity itself. And still, their soldiers whispered in fear. No weapon had yet erased the memory of the warship that swallowed their fleets whole. Meanwhile, some races bent their knees before Earth. Secret envoys were sent, carrying gifts of technology, resources, and promises. They begged for mercy, hoping the humans would see them as allies instead of enemies. No one knew if the humans even accepted. The envoys never returned. The council was fracturing. For the first time in thousands of years, its great chamber sat half empty. Members walked out, empires cut ties, treaties burned. Fear had broken the galaxy. And in the silence between stars, humanity moved. New fleets were seen. Not massive armadas, but small squadrons, each more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever built. They did not patrol aimlessly. They struck with purpose. A Dominion shipyard vanished without warning, its wreckage found scattered across a dead moon. A listening post near Earth's border went silent, its crew never seen again. But the humans did not claim these attacks. They gave no messages, no warnings. The galaxy only knew through the whispers left behind, through the destruction itself. Then came the greatest sign of all. For the first time in 10,000 years, a human fleet crossed the border of Earth's system. Not one ship, not 3, but dozens. They did not move like explorers. They moved like predators, silent, coordinated, certain of their strength. The star charts had ended at Earth for as long as anyone remembered. Now, the charts would have to change. The galaxy panicked. Was this war? An invasion? Or something worse? On a distant outpost near the edge of Vezari space, the answer began to form. The outpost detected ships, human ships, moving through the void. The garrison prepared for battle, their defenses aimed at the dark. But the humans did not attack. They passed through, ignoring the outpost entirely. The message was clear. Humanity was not hiding anymore. They were traveling again. The Vezari screamed for war. They called the council cowards, demanding a united strike before humanity grew unstoppable. Yet even they hesitated to send more fleets. Too many of their ships already lay as dust near Earth. Across the stars, others wondered something different. What if the humans were not seeking war? What if they had awakened for another reason? But those questions did not bring comfort. They only brought dread. For if humanity had goals beyond survival, what could those goals be? Conquest? Revenge? Or something greater, something the galaxy could not even imagine? On Earth itself, changes grew faster. Satellites lit the skies. Factories glowed in the dark. Energy signatures too vast to measure pulsed across continents. The humans were building, preparing. And deep beneath the oceans, signals throbbed like a heartbeat, steady and patient. Some said it was just machines waking. Others believed it was something else, voices waiting to speak, or weapons waiting to rise. The galaxy could no longer pretend. Humanity had returned. The silence of 10,000 years was over. And soon, the stars would burn again. The galaxy had never been so quiet. Trade routes slowed. Border patrols retreated. Whole empires sealed themselves inside their own systems, terrified that humanity might appear at their gates. The name Earth no longer carried mystery. It carried fear. But fear was not enough to stop the Vezari Dominion. Broken and humiliated, the Dominion gathered its last strength. It was no longer about conquest or expansion. It was about survival of pride. They had lost fleets, outposts, and honor. If they did nothing, their empire would crumble from within. And so, in secret, they built one last weapon. It was called the Starbreaker, a weapon forged from stolen technology, black holes, and desperation. It was not elegant. It was not stable. But it was powerful enough to rip apart a planet. The Vezari planned to use it on Earth itself, to erase the forbidden world from existence and prove that humanity could bleed. The weapon was hidden inside a massive fleet, the largest the Dominion had ever assembled. Hundreds of ships guarded it, their crews promised glory if they succeeded. They moved toward Earth in silence, cloaked and careful, certain the galaxy's fear would keep their plan secret. They were wrong. The moment the fleet entered the forbidden zone, the stars shifted. Space grew heavy, as if the void itself was watching. The Vezari ships pushed forward, their captains trembling but unwilling to turn back. Ahead, Earth glowed in the distance, its blue surface calm, its skies clear. Too calm. And then they appeared. The human fleet. Not one ship, not 3, not dozens, but hundreds. They emerged from the dark like ghosts, their hulls gleaming with scars of wars no one remembered. Their weapons burned with light older than empires. The Vezari stopped dead, their courage torn away by the sight. The human flagship moved to the front, larger than all others, a giant born from nightmares. It did not speak. It did not send warnings. It only advanced, slow and certain, like judgment itself. The Vezari admiral gave the order. Fire the Starbreaker. The weapon charged, tearing the void with its unstable energy. The fleet's power surged into it, and for a moment, the impossible seemed real. Earth trembled in their sights, a target about to be erased. But before the weapon could strike, the humans moved. Their fleet unleashed fire like a storm of suns. Beams of energy tore through the Vezari lines. Ships shattered in silence, their screams lost to the void. The Starbreaker itself began to break apart, its unstable core collapsing. The Vezari admirals begged for retreat, but it was too late. The weapon imploded, dragging half their fleet into a black maw of destruction. Those who survived found themselves surrounded, their ships dead, their hopes burned. And then, for the first time, the human flagship spoke. Its voice carried across every frequency, clear and cold. This is our last warning. The stars are ours to walk. You will not trespass again. Every Vezari soldier heard it. Every spy who listened carried the message back to their worlds. The humans had not only awakened. They had claimed the stars once more. The Dominion was finished. Their empire shattered, their fleets destroyed, their name broken. Across the galaxy, other empires listened and obeyed. Borders shifted. Plans ended. No one dared approach Earth again. But even as fear spread, so did questions. If humans had only defended, why had they built fleets so large? If they wished only for silence, why did their signals now echo across half the galaxy? Some whispered of conquest. Others of protection. The oldest races, who remembered humanity's first rise, said nothing. They knew the truth no one wanted to hear. The humans had not returned for war. They had returned because they had never left. They had been waiting, patient and watchful, until the galaxy grew weak enough to forget. Now, memory had returned. And with it, the stars themselves belonged to humanity once again. The star charts still ended at Earth. But soon, new charts would spread, not drawn by the Council, not written by alien hands, but by humans. And the galaxy would follow them, whether in fear or in chains.